Hello YouTube, Captain Mac here, and welcome to a first flight in a new short series called Around the World in the MD-11. We're going to be flying this with the TFDi MD-11, and maybe if you guys want, if there's enough interest in it, we'll do a few of the flights in the Rotate MD-11 over on X-Plane 12. You guys can let me know down in the comments. The idea of this particular flight, or this particular series, is really just to kind of get back into the swing of things, get us used to putting out content consistently again and so on, and to get me used to the things that I need to do. And just as an example, this will literally be the 4th time I have done this flight, the 3rd time that I've recorded it as a video, and probably the 3rd time that I have to edit everything because things got messed. And I don't mean messed up like, oh, I just did a bad flight or something like that. Like, one of them, I recorded the entire video, I edited the entire thing, and compiled the entire thing before I realized that there was no sound at all. Yes, hours, literally, of work and no sound. So, that's the objective here, is to sort of get back into the swing of things. I do have a big favor to ask of all of you. I've been doing some research into it, seeing what's the dealio with certain things as far as how YouTube works, and YouTube has made it abundantly clear to creators that one of the primary driving factors in whether or not your video, or how high your video appears in searches and how frequently your videos are suggested and so on, is the number of likes that your videos get. Yeah, that's right. The number of times people give it a thumbs up determines whether or not more people get the opportunity to see that video over, say, somebody else's video. So, if you like the content and you think that I've earned it, would you please actually go ahead and give a thumbs up down there? Just click the little button. You all know how to do it. That will make my videos more likely to be discovered in searches and give more people an opportunity to find them, see them, and so on, and it would be a big help to me. Now, of course, if you don't think that I've earned a thumbs up, well, by all means, don't give me a thumbs up, and that just is what it is. So, other than that, I will share with you along the way a little bit what's been going on in life. I think I've already shared some of it as it is, but I don't want to drag this intro on too long, so without further ado, what do you say we hop into the flight deck and we get things started? Alrighty folks, here we are on the flight deck. The first thing we need to do obviously is get some power on the aircraft. We're going to try and go through this a little quicker, so I may skip over some things, or I may take advantage of the ability to use video editing tricks to just sort of fast forward things so that you don't have to watch everything. I should turn the battery on first. I always do that. I turn external power on because it's just staring me in the face, but I don't turn the battery on, and you're supposed to turn the battery on first. But either way, there's the battery on. We'll throw the dome light on for now. We can throw these floodlights on in the background there, and there's going to be some for the background here. Those are going to be helpful. And then we'll roll through some things real quick on the checklist here. Some of these things I'll be doing off screen and so on. And if you hear little ones in the background making noise, well, that's part of why I've been so busy. So we'll get to that here in just a minute. Let me just go through a few things on the checklist first. So, first thing we want to do is we want to actually load our flight plan in here. So we've used SimBrief and Navigraph as we've partnered with them, and they've been so amazing to me. And I didn't mention it in the intro, but I've had almost 2 years since I've made any consistent videos whatsoever, and I had partnered with Navigraph in the past to use their product and sort of promote their product. Well, not sort of, but to promote their product, sending that to the FMC there. And they gave me access to all of their features and stuff like that. And that was the partnership, and it's been amazing. And so, of course, that went away when I'm sitting here trying to hey, listen, guys, I'm trying to record a video, and you're in the background making noise. That's unacceptable. Radios are so rude. Anyway, so I had partnered with them to make use of their products. They gave me access to all of their products and everything like that, and it was amazing. I didn't have to pay for it, which was a wonderful deal for me because I love Navigraph charts and being able to update the FMCs and all of that stuff. And they gave me access to all of that, right? And in return, all I had to do was put on here that I was partnered with Navigraph, right? And so it's been like 2 years since I've done anything at all. And Navigraph, when I contacted them, I contacted them here recently, and I was like, hey, just curious if you guys are interested in continuing this partnership, and they didn't even hesitate. They were like, absolutely, yes, we totally want to continue this partnership. And I was amazed by that. I was like, that is so awesome. How many companies do you know out there? And I know I'm just pausing here for a second, guys. How many companies do you know out there that are less interested in how popular of an individual they can partner with on something like YouTube, and more interested in maintaining relationships? So super kudos out to Navigraph, who, if you don't know by now, also runs SimBrief. Everything's integrated. We'll get into all that later, but I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Navigraph, say thank you so much to you guys. You guys are amazing, and you really just made life so much easier for me, so thank you. Okay, so we've got the flight plan from the EFB loaded through SimBrief, and we sent it over to the FMS. We'll get to that here in a little bit. Just going through a few things real quick. We need to make sure the parking brake is set. It is not set because the chocks are on, so you're going to have to set your parking brake really quick. Weather radar switch is off, fuel switches are off, spoilers are retracted, flaps are up, gear is down, armed and tested, so nav light on, emergency lights, you got to roll the mouse wheel, armed, tested, no smoking, fast seatbelt signs need to come on, and from here we can go ahead and we're going to put all three of the IRSs into nav. That automatically does the cargo fire test up here. If it doesn't, then you could do the test manually yourself right here. Let's get back to the proper view. I know I'm jumping around. Annunciator lights test real quick. There we go, beautiful, and we can jump down here and start aligning the IRS. We'll go to flight plan initialization. Alternate is going to be EINN, and ultimately stepping 2370. Pretty sure I still got that right. I'll double check it off camera. And the cost index last time I checked was 72, so we're going to stick with that. We're going to go ahead and align the IRS. While that's aligning, 2336 is our flight number because it's one of my favorite numbers. There we go, fantastic. Moving over real quick, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to accept block fuel, 167, takeoff gross weight, we'll accept that. We'll accept center of gravity and 0 fuel weight, center of gravity, those are good to go. And then you need to note this number. Now if you're not sure about these, hop back over here to your EFB. There's your block fuel, 167078. In route fuel, all of that information is available to you here along with your entire flight, which can make life really easy on you. I love that you can just send this over though, because otherwise it's a lot of typing over there, right? So jumping back over here real quick, we need to note that fuel 167.1. We're going to go to page 3, and you need to put that here in your refuel quantity. So 167.1 refuel quantity, bam, there it is, and that's going to take care of our initial startup procedure. So even trying to keep that short, I just noticed that my power on procedure, my initial startup procedure, was 6 minutes long. So we're going to try and go through this a little quicker. If I have to, I'll just shut my mouth and fast forward things. All right. So we're going to take care of the flight plan now. We're going to jump over here. You're going to notice that it goes from Memphis straight to Diab. It does not have our departure in there. We'll do the departure briefing in a little bit, but you can jump over here and see that we're going to be gets 7 to Diab. So jumping down here, just click on KMEM, click on SID, and I don't remember which runway we're scheduled to use. It's going to be 36 left. That's what we're scheduled for. So we're going to scroll down, find 36 left, and then we're going to scroll down again until we find get 7. There it is right there. And then transition is at Diab, so we want to click on that, insert all of those, and it's going to jump back over here. And now instead of saying from Memphis, it says all of this information out to gets Diab, top of climb, and then on route from there. And then we can go ahead, and there's 2 different ways you can enter in your STAR, your standard instrument arrival. You can either click on your last waypoint, or you can click on the airport. We're going to click on the last waypoint, we're going to click on the STAR, and then again, if you're uncertain, hop over here. It should be the Alapo 4L arrival. You'll see when we do the arrival chart. Did this just go all the way back? Oh no, it's okay. You'll see when we do the approach briefing that the chart has several different arrivals on it. So Alapo 4L, and we're going to transition. It says no transition right now. We're not choosing a runway yet because we don't know what the weather is going to be there. That takes care of getting our flight plan set up in here. We can go to the takeoff page. And we're going to be pretty heavy today, so I'm going to go with flaps 20 on the dial of flaps. We're going to throw that in there. We're not going to use a flex temp. We do need the information for our runway. You can grab that by hopping right over here, going to performance page, and we said we're taking runway 36 left. So just scroll this little arrow down until you find 36 left. There it is. That's going to give you the slope is negative 0.4, and then if you grab the weather information, there we go, our headwind. Oh, it says a tailwind of 1 knot on 36 left. So I don't know why it's got us departing there. What if we switch to, you know what, let's try 18 center. Because we can still use this departure, and that's going to give us a 1 knot headwind. So I'm going to hop back over here. I'm not going to say anything while I do this, just in case it takes a minute, but we're going to switch this to runway 18 center. Yeah, so we're going to leave that the same. We're going to select 18 center. It's going to leave that there, and then we're just going to insert that. And so it should just change it. Yep, there you go, runway 18 center. Still get 7. If you're unsure about it, just hop back here, throw this to the plan page real quick, and just well, it's decreased all the way, but you can see it's just going to be an intercept there, and it's still going to take us on course, so it's not going to be a problem. So 18 center. Now we'll go back over here to the takeoff approach page. Still going to be flaps 20, but if you look now, all the information on our runway has changed. So it's going to be a 1 knot headwind, and it's going to be 0.6 on the slope. So what you're going to do is you're going to put 0.6 slash, and then the headwind, which was 1 knot, right? So 1 knot for the headwind, you're going to put that in there. It's automatically going to do the up and the HD. Now, if this is a negative slope, you have to hit this little negative key down here. Fantastic. And then 19 degrees Celsius is our temperature. You have to put the C in there. So 19 Charlie, put that in there, and that's going to give us our V speeds. We need to confirm those at 164, 175, and 180, and hopefully that was a little bit quicker, and we can just real fast jump up here. And so if I recall correctly, we don't have any altitude restrictions. I'll double check. If we do, then I'll change this back, but otherwise we're going to set it to 330 to begin. We don't need to do anything else on here. That's going to take care of the rest of our pre-start procedures. We'll be ready to start and push here momentarily. Alrighty folks, so we've already requested the pushback for our departure. They're getting things set up down there. I'm going to go through a couple last minute things here by getting the APU started. We'll read through the checklist here in a moment. We're going to let that start spinning up. If you jump down here, we've gone ahead and got our information.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Beautiful. We've got our information in here for the takeoff. We've got different V speeds on here, 171, 173, 178 versus 164, 175, 180. We're going to go with what it says here in the FMC. That's going to work out just fine for us. As far as the rest of the checklist is concerned, we've gone through all. You need to select your ignition. We're going to use ignition A today, and I don't know why I always miss it in the checklist, but the emergency power, I need to arm that. APU is available, and we'll turn the APU bleed on. We'll disconnect the external power. Now it's not moving yet. They want to push, but if you go to services, you can see that we've got the GPU connected, so we need to disconnect that, and we need to remove the chocks because they don't remove them.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
There you go. Start engines. Starting over here with number 3. We're going to go ahead and introduce the fuel. Or not introduce the fuel, move the starter. We're watching our N2 here to get to 12%, and as soon as it does, we're going to go ahead and introduce fuel. It's going to be the same for all 3, so I'm going to show you the first one, and then I'm going to skip to the end of the last one. So there's 12%. Fuel's coming in. I'll see you when we've got engine number 2 started. Remember, it goes 3, 1, 2.
A few moments later.
Alright, there's 12% and engine number 2 getting spun up right now. Let's take a look at our checklist real quick. Everything's good to go. 3, 1, 2 on the engine start. There's Captain Matt coughing in your face. Those haven't gone away.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Okay, so they'll be disconnecting now. We've got everything good to go except turning the light on. We're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead. Let me jump back down here real quick. I want to move this. I changed that view, but it's not working right. To the config page so that we can do our flight controls check here in a minute. Let's go ahead and get the flaps all the way down to our dial-up flap, which is set at 20. And then we can hop up over here. We can do it from right here, actually.
Unlocking gear.
We'll do full left. I don't know if you would do this while they're down there. You might not, but that's all right. Full right, neutral, all the way up. Looking good, all the way down, neutral, and then full left on the rudder. Never works with these pedals. Full right on the rudder always works just fine.
Bypass pin removed.
Beautiful. We'll leave.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and now we're going to move the stabilator. That's, you can see this guy moving right here. And so if you wonder what it's supposed to be at, if you look on here, I'll show you real quick and then we'll hop back here. It tells you right here, 8.5 is what we're looking for on this. So you're going to move this all the way until that hits 8.5. It'll be in the green. Then we're going to turn this back over to the engine page here. And the only thing we need is taxi lights. Oh, and we need to arm the nav mode. So we'll jump up top real quick. We'll throw the taxi lights on, and beacon lights should be on now. High intensity stays on, and then we want to arm the nav mode. So if you look over here right now, just you see the information we have here. When you hit nav, right, nav is now armed. Okay, so that means it's gonna fly the nav course that we've scheduled to fly. Okay, that took longer than I wanted to, as everything does, so we'll be back here in just a moment. We'll start the taxi. Alrighty folks, we got the track IR turned on. In case you're wondering, I've decided that at least for some videos I'm not going to do them in VR. I still haven't found a good way to make that look nice. You don't want to be bouncing all over the place the whole time, and neither do I. So let's get the dome light off here so that so check it out. We've got the taxi lights on. You can't see them, but then if I hop to this external view here, they're on, right? So it's some sort of glitch going on. As far as I know, TFDi is aware of it, so yeah, we're just going to deal with it. Okay, so as I start to pull out here, we'll go ahead and we'll take care of the taxi brief, and then I'll probably just fast forward to the hold short point. Alrighty, real quick look at our taxi brief here. We're right over here by 6 Whiskey, and we're going to depart down the ramp here to taxiway Bravo. We'll use Bravo to cross over runway 927, continue across Alpha, down Bravo at the angle here, across Sierra, hold short of runway 18 Charlie. There is a hot spot right here. There's actually 2 different hold short lines there. You'll see them when we're taxiing. There's a little notification here. We're not too worried about it. There's really not a lot of traffic in the area today, so it shouldn't be a problem. Alright, taking a real quick look then at our departure briefing here. It's going to be the Get 7 departure from runway 18 center. Just taking note here, here's the runways here. We're going to be on the center one, which we need. It's the longest, it's a long run, it's a heavy aircraft. But it's going to be out here, just straight out on departure initially. It says it over here too. Climb on heading 180 until you intercept the 161 degree course to Ribs, and then we turn left and then follow the depicted route. So basically you climb straight out until you're on this 161 degree radial to Ribs. Once you're on that, straight to Ribs, over to Heiner, to Wirtz, out to Doug, Getz, and then we're transitioning off at Diab. I double checked here. I did not see any obstacles for us to concern ourselves with. Other than that, it's the typical 250 knots until you reach 10,000 feet, and then now once you reach 10,000 feet, you have to maintain 250 or greater, and if you can't, you advise ATC. That won't be a problem for us. Memphis departure is going to be a 124.15, keeping in mind the airport elevation is at 341 feet. Alrighty folks, we're just coming up to the hold short line here of 18 Charlie, 18 center. We're going to bring it to a quick stop, finish a few pre-flight things here real quick. Let me go ahead and get the track IR off. Bring her to a stop here. Got to get on the brakes a little bit hard because now we're not across the line, but I got up a little further than I wanted to. Now you might have heard my flight crew in the background making some noise. That's because they're toddlers. We'll talk a little bit about that once we get airborne and get underway. I want to share a little bit with you what's been going on in my life so you know where I'm at. Okay, so we're up here ready for takeoff, or just about. We're going to arm the auto flight. Now remember, once you arm this auto flight, if you go past 65% on the throttles, it's going to go into auto throttle mode. So just keep that in mind. We want to verify that the EAD is green down here. Right now it says spoilers. And so what that is, we're going to have to turn the dome light on because you can't really see down here, is you have to click to pull them up. That arms the spoilers, and now you see we have a green box there. Let me jump back to the proper view. There we go. Fantastic. And then we're going to position and hold from there. It's thrust levers, and then off we go. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get the dome light off. We're going to go ahead and jump back into track IR. A little jump here. There we go. And then as we start to taxi out onto the runway, when we cross over that line there, we want to make sure we got landing lights on. There we go. Left and right. Runway turn-off lights on, and high-intensity lights all need to be on. That's your strobe, is your high-intensity lights. Again, you can't see them from inside the aircraft. I don't know why that is, but if you jump out here, you see we got all of our lights on. Looking good, looking beautiful. It is an amazing airplane. I'm going to talk with Colin. He's the guy who runs TFDi, and just ask him. I'm sure they're aware of it. I haven't looked into it. But I'm just going to ask him, see if he has any information he can share. I'm sure he's already shared it, so I just haven't looked through the forums or their Discord or anything like that. So TFDi has done an amazing job with this airplane. For those of you who don't have it or are not familiar with it, this thing is fantastic. All right, we are ready to go, so we're going to start bringing throttles up as we get lined up here. Use as much runway as we can for our takeoff. There's the throttles coming in, getting center line here, beautiful, and let's advance them past 65. And there they go, they're kicking in full throttle. And then I'm going to push them all the way up because that's where I want them to be. My throttles don't physically move just because the throttle's in the aircraft too. Okay, we're rolling here, a little bit of crosswind, just keep her down the center line as best we can. Airspeed is alive. Ooh, she's moving too. Come on, baby. Look at that. There's not a lot of runway here. Oh, come on. There's V1 coming up. V1. And rotate. Come on, stay over on the center. Oh, boy, it really wanted to drift there. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Positive rate of climb. Just trying to find my handle here. There we go. Gear coming up. And of course, there's another cough in your face. We want to follow the flight director. Sorry about that. If Captain Mac's not coughing in your face, he's not doing a good job, I think. Just nose down trim a little bit here. I got something like stuck in my throat. And we're just trying to follow that flight director. It's going to come to the left here shortly. And you see it wants to keep coming down. The nose wants to come down. So we're working on it because our speed's getting a little slow right now, and that's because it reduced thrust. There we go. You don't want to overdo it though. If you overcook it, see, she wants to nose over all of a sudden, which is a little frustrating. That's the aircraft though. That's not like the designers. See, it wants us to bring flaps up. We're at the flaps retract place or speed. Ooh, this one could be she can be a little hard to fly at times. It's not the model, it's the aircraft in real life. Alright. Alright, I'm not ready to bring flaps up quite yet. I'm gonna hold what I got, because you can see we're at 205 knots right now, and that's with the flaps out. If I reduce flaps to just slats, it's gonna probably increase that speed until like 275. And because we're still below 10,000 feet, I don't want to do that. We are still hand flying the aircraft. When you're ready to turn it over to the autopilot, you just hit auto flight again, and then you hit the profile. We'll show you that here in a minute. That's going to be this guy right here, and that's going to be sort of your VNav, right? LNav is just the nav button, and then VNav is the profile button. Okay, so real quick while we're continuing out here before we go into autopilot. So what's been going on in my life? I talked about it a little bit already. But the reason it's been so difficult and so inconsistent in getting videos out is we had another child. He is now a little over 2 years old. He's running around back there, and once I get done with this portion of the video, I'm going to have to go chase him around for a little bit while this thing flies to Ireland. But anyway, he's a toddler, right? And toddlers are a lot of work. And if you're not aware, I'm almost 50 years old now. I know it probably doesn't sound like it. I sound like this young feller, but I'm actually almost 50 years old. And so toddlers keep you really, really busy. In addition to that, I've continued my schooling, not an attempt to make myself sound amazing or anything like that. God has really blessed me. I finished seminary. I started ministry work in addition to my regular job. And I had the opportunity to pursue my doctorate in theology, which I'm doing right now. And that's been a tremendous blessing as well. And then on top of all of that, I also became a chaplain for the U.S. Army Reserves, which has been just so amazing. The opportunity to take my military experience from the Marine Corps and translate that along with my ministry experience to minister to soldiers in the Army Reserves has been such an amazing thing. And I am so grateful for that opportunity, and I'm going to continue doing that as long as God's going to let me do it. So that's what's been going on in my life. Obviously, quite busy. and it has made it difficult to try and be consistent with really much of anything, to be honest with you. But we finally found a bit of an even keel here, and so I should have the opportunity to at least once a week get a video out to you guys, and then as things continue to settle down a little bit more, start getting videos out more consistently, a couple times a week, something like that, doing more live streams, so on and so forth. So that's kind of what's been going on in my life. Yeah, so you guys let me know down in the comments what you think, and you know, like I said at the beginning of the video, and I'll probably say it again at the end of the video, don't hesitate to give a thumbs up. It's a huge help to me. It's a huge help for the content. Yeah, so it's beautiful. I love you guys. You guys have always been amazing. I still got almost 10,000 subscribers, despite the fact that I've been on such a long hiatus, and it's not the first one. So you guys are just amazing. And I'm really blessed to have the people that I have as subscribers. It's been so fantastic. So thank you so much to all of you for everything that you've done for me. I really appreciate it. Let's take a real quick look here at our after takeoff checklist. The vertical speed, we're just flying manually right now, so we don't need to worry about that. Landing and taxi lights will come off here in a couple thousand feet. Auto brake can go off. It can be a little tricky. Let's get the dome light on. You can't see nothing down there without the dome light. Oh, that's the compass. See if I can get the view. Come on. Oh, it's not actually touching it. It's touching something else. So, I just can't get to it from there. Alright, we'll do it this way. Come on. Oh, now you want to do it. Little bugger. Alright, jumping back up here. Okay, so auto brake's off. I'm going to go ahead and put auto flight on now. Since I'm not paying close attention to flying the aircraft at this point, that's probably not a good idea, right? Let's go ahead and get the track IR off as well. There we go. Okay, auto brakes are off. Flaps, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to the first setting. We're going to get rid of our flaps 20, and we're going to go to just slats only. Now, just if you're not aware, if you need to reduce flaps but you don't want to go to slats only, you can change your dial of flap while the flaps are down, and it will move the flaps. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but it does do it in this aircraft, so that can be helpful if you need a lower flap setting. But you see, we're coming up on 9,000 feet right now, and it wants to go to 275 knots at this point. That's why I was holding back on on reducing the flaps. Okay, enough about that. Anti-ice, we don't need those right now. Landing lights will come off shortly. FMS speed push, right? So if I push it right now, you see it says 250 on there. Push it right now, and now it's just FMS speed, and that's what we want. And then we want to make sure we're on profile. There we go, climb thrust, and now it's going to profile to 33,000 feet, and then it'll let us know when it's ready to step climb. That's it. That's all for the takeoff, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you back when we're getting ready to brief the descent. Alrighty folks, as you can see here, we're going to be coming up on our descent pretty soon, about 80 miles out from that. So we're starting just a little bit early. It says to begin our descent prep 30 to 50 nautical miles out, but we're going to go ahead and just start it now. We'll roll right into our approach, or not our approach, but our arrival briefing, then we'll do our approach briefing in a little bit. So we've got the information for the airport already taken care of. We've gone into the FMC and added both the arrival was already there. It was the Alapo 4L arrival, and then we added the approach. So when you're ready to add the approach, just click next to the arrival here. If it'll let me. Oh, I clicked on next to the top of descent. Click next to the arrival, click star, select your runway, hit insert, and you're good to go from there. So that's all you got to do. It's not a big deal. Change the view a little bit, and I want to bring Navigraph charts over here, and we'll take care of our arrival briefing. That's obviously not going to be our arrival briefing. It'll be this guy here, and we're looking at the Alapo 4 Lima arrival. So ATIS is going to be on 124.530. We'll pop that up here pretty soon. We're going to come in from Alapo at or above flight level 170. That won't be a problem for us, I'm sure. Down to Ronan, whatever that is. Orvin from there, Gyros. And then this right here is, where is it? It's Kirab. There we go. We need to be at flight level 80. Now it says flight level on there because transition altitude is 5,000 feet in this area, and we'll see that when we do the approach briefing. So it's still going to be flight level because we're above transition altitude. So 8,000 feet there to Kogax, Kudam, DW 814, 815, 816, and then a right turn into Obinu, and then from there we'll transition on to the approach, which we'll brief here in a little bit. Max speed, as always, 250 knots below 10,000 feet, even though we have a different flight transition altitude. Doesn't make any difference there. So it's going to be 8,000 feet all the way around here, down to 3,000, at or above 3,000. This is at or below 170. I said at or above. It's at or below 170. 8,000 all the way around, and then at or above 3,000 at Obinu, and then we'll go on to the approach from there. So that takes care of our arrival briefing. We're going to go ahead and continue the flight here, and we'll do the approach briefing shortly. Alrighty folks, we are on the descent here, on our way to Alapo, trying to get to 17,000 at or below. Real quick, I'm going to see, can I change, is it performance? Where is transition altitude at? It's right here. There it is, 5,000 feet. So it's already in there. Beautiful. I love it. I love when things work the way they're supposed to. Okay, so let's take a look at our approach briefing here. Bringing Navigraph charts back over, and obviously we're going to hop over here. It's going to be the ILS runway 28 left approach for us today. Again, ATIS is on 124.530. We'll go ahead and grab Dublin approach on 121.1 for now. Dublin Tower is going to be 18.6 and ground 121.8. Just incidentally, I think I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, but I'm just going to mention it again here right now. I do want to go to an ATC program. There's two that I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at sayintentions.ai and Beyond ATC. Both of them look fantastic. Both of them have things I like and things that I don't like. But you guys let me know down in the comments what you think, which one you think would be better, and then we'll just kind of go from there. All right? Okay, continuing on here, the ILS, or localizer frequency, is going to be 111.35 with a final approach course of 278 degrees. We'll put that in here in just a minute. Final approach fix is at max EV at 2,500 feet. ILS decision altitude is going to be 200 feet AGL. Keep in mind the airport elevation is 243 feet, while the runway threshold elevation is 202 feet. That means we're going to have an uphill on our landing here, which is fantastic. Looking at the missed approach really quick, we're going to climb straight ahead to Gannett. We're going to remain at or below 3,000 feet. Then it's a right turn to DW034 and then proceed to the Dublin VOR. A maximum of 200 knots for this missed approach procedure, and then from there we either initiate another approach or is directed by ATC. And you can see that with the dotted lines down here, straight out here to Gannett, right turn to DW034, and then another right turn out to the Dublin VOR. All of that is already programmed into the FMC, which is fantastic. So when we come in over here, where was our, we were transitioning at Obinu, which is this guy right here. So Obinu, and then down to Latmo from there, and then to MaxEv, our final approach fix, and on from there. Remember, at Latmo, 3,000 feet, we got just shy of 4 miles to descend to 2,500 feet. Shouldn't be a problem. Grab the glide slope from there. we'll let the autopilot do its thing for a little bit, and then we'll take control from there. We're going to have PAPI lights on the left and right hand side of the runway, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is your approach briefing. Now, really quick, let's make sure that we have everything entered into the FMC that we're supposed to. We need the localizer frequency of 111.35. So if you hop down here and just click on Nav Radio, you'll see you need the frequency and the course, and so you're going to put it in like this: 111.35. Find my buttons here, and then slash, same format you have here, and then the approach course, 278 degrees. 278 degrees. I'm going to put that in there. BAMSIS, just like that. We're good to go. We're going to take a look at our takeoff approach page here. We're going to go ahead and land with flaps 35, which is going to give us a V approach speed of 162 knots. If we wanted to, we could select flaps 50 for landing, but we're not going to be doing that. So we should be good to go with that. We're going to leave it on that page there. On this guy over here, rather than having it on the progress page, we're going to put that on the flight plan page. And then a couple more things we just want to verify real quick. Our decision altitude is a radar altitude of 200 feet. You can see here it now says no GS and no LOC. That means that it has tuned the frequency, but it has not picked it up yet. We've got 8,000 feet tuned into our profile here. Hopefully, well, we shouldn't have a problem making 8,000 feet. I don't know if we're going to make at or below 17,000 at Alapo, but we'll see. And yeah, that's the gist of it. So I will see you guys when we're turning on to the approach so that we don't have too much time on here. Alrighty folks, as you can see here, our next turn is going to be DW816, which is going to bring us towards our final approach course. We're going to switch back to FMS speed here. You can see that immediately dropped to 184. That's why I was commanding the speed, because I didn't want it to go any slower. So we can go to flaps 28 right now, but it's going to require us to bring the landing gear down. So I'm going to show you a little trick here. What we can do is we can scroll this to flaps 20, and it shouldn't require the landing gear. There we go. So there's flaps 20. That'll keep that nose down just a little bit. And then we can go to flaps 28 here in just a minute. You can see we're turning on the course here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to lower our altitude now to 3,000 feet. Come on down there. I don't want to go too fast because then you just shoot right past it and then you got to go back and forth. There we go. There's 3,000 feet, and then we should be able to catch the glide slope from out a little further is what I want to say. So, but if I have to, I can lower that to 2,500 feet. You can see right now it says profile to 3,000 feet. It went ahead and started the descent because from 816 there we can start our descent to 3,000 feet. So we're going to go on that. And so we're just turning her in here, and we should see it should pick up this glide slope. It's already picked up the localizer, you can see right here. It just hasn't picked up the glide slope yet, and I think it's just because we're too high right now. You can hit the approach land switch now if you want, because it's already picked up the localizer, and then it'll pick up the glide slope when it's time. But I like to see that it's at least registered where the glide slope is before I go ahead and click on that button. Keep in mind also, like right now, you can see we're pretty far left. So if I hit it right now, it's going to actually try to chase it to the right, and it's going to bring us over here. We don't want to do that. We want to fly this course like that. And so we're going to come up here to Lapmo, and you'll see that that localizer diamond there will start to center up as we get closer to Lapmo, and that'll be a good time to hit that approach and land switch. This is one of the most beautiful approaches that I've ever flown with the clouds out here. At 8,000 feet, we were just surfing along in the clouds, and it was absolutely amazing. So, yeah, just beautiful stuff. Now we'll start descending down through them here. And you can see if you look on here, I've got the data turned on. That's this little button right here. So you can see 220 knots is max speed. At or above, that's what the plus means. At or above 3,000 feet at Obinu. And then same thing at Lapmo. So we're shooting for 3,000 feet. We're at 184 knots. Right before we get to Lapmo, we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit the approach land switch. That will capture the localizer, capture the glide slope. Then we can go ahead and drop the landing gear. Keep in mind too, if we look down here, so it's 35 on the flaps is what we're looking for, and 161 is the V approach speed. And again, we're going to let the ILS flight in a little bit. Also, we're about to drop below 5,000 feet, and the altimeter is 3012. I did pull it from the ATIS. So we'll just wait till we get down a little bit lower here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll dial in that altimeter as well. I don't know why. Can anybody explain to me why the transition altitudes are typically so much lower in Europe than they are? Like in the United States, it's 18,000 feet across the board, but in Europe they're different depending on where you go, and sometimes drastically so. And I don't actually know why that is. I've never really looked into it. If somebody knows, maybe you could let me know down in the comments. So we're gonna go ahead and scroll this up to 3012 now, which is pretty high pressure actually. There we go, 3012, and you can see, so now she's kind of nosing over a little bit because now we're a little high, which that's part of the reason I think it's a little strange, because if you're transitioning at such a low altitude, it's like the aircraft kind of last minute, especially on an approach like this. I mean, it's only 2,000 feet above the altitude you're trying to be at, like when you get to Latmo, right? And so you see this sudden drastic change in what barometric altitude we're actually at, and I just find that a little strange. So maybe somebody knows and can explain to me why it is that the transition altitude is so different in Europe than it is in the United States. I'm sure there's a logical reason behind it. I just don't know what that reason is. And then we need to remember, once we capture the glide slope, to put that back to 3,000 feet for our missed approach procedure. Go ahead and decrease this range here a little too, just so we can see a little clearer. So we'll see when it captures both of those. Now it's captured the localizer. You see localizer in white here. And we are on FMS speed right now, so that's fine. There's 2,500 feet right there. You can see the runway out in the distance. Well, I can see it. I don't know if you can, but there it is. Absolutely beautiful flight. I love flying this airplane. I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. There we go. Glide slope is captured. Let's go ahead and bring the landing gear down and go to flaps 28. Speed is staying at 184 right now. There it is. Now it's coming down. 163. Should be 161. I can live with 163 though. Let's go ahead and go flaps 35. That's going to be our landing flaps. And we'll let the aircraft autopilot do its thing for a couple minutes here, and then we'll take control once she's settled. You can take control at any time. I have found that without the feel you get in a real aircraft, and of course I've never flown an aircraft this big. I've flown little Cessnas before, but that feel makes a big difference. Like you can feel when the airplane's sort of dropping out from underneath you. You can feel when it's sort of grabbing as it starts to, you know, grab a little air, so to speak. I don't know how else to put it, but you can feel all of that. And because you can feel that, it makes it a little easier to make adjustments. But in the sim, you don't have any of that feel. So kind of just letting the aircraft settle on its own, I've always found is really good, because the autopilot will get it right where you want it, right where it needs to be. And then you can just come in and you can turn off the autopilot and take over, and it's not too difficult. One thing you'll notice though, that I've noticed with this airplane, is if you look here on the stab trim, it's continuing to climb. So the whole time that we're descending here, the stab trim is continuing to climb, and you can hear that notification there as well. Even though we're pretty much maintaining speed, power, and all of that, it's continuing to climb. Okay, let's go ahead and take the autopilot off. And immediately she wants to take a little nosedive there. See that? Okay. That's alright though. Let's bring in a little stab trim. We want to watch our power output as well. You can get high really fast if you're not careful. Like we're too high now, and that's my fault. So just push the nose down just a little bit. We're not trying to chase it too hard, because if you do that, you're going to be in trouble. You don't want to be fighting with it constantly. So just bringing in a little trim there. She's looking good. There we go. Now she's coming in. Watch that speed. We're just a little fast there, so I'm just going to bring it back just a hair. And then she immediately got fast again. Or I mean got high again. So you can see we're just a little high on the PAPI lights there. Not too bad, but we are landing just a little heavy, and we don't want to be landing any longer than we have to. So just a little nose down trim, because now we're just getting way too high. Come on. There we go. Let's get on the center line here. Come on. There we go. Now we're on glide slope. wasn't too bad, actually. Although she yanked to the left there. Woo. Oh, no you didn't. I hate when it does that. Let's try this again. Reverse. There we go. I was putting on reversers and they didn't kick in because I didn't look over there, and so it was throttling all the way up again. Alright, runway turnoff lights can come off. This guy to taxi, these two can come off. Fantastic. And just real quick, let's see if we can get the APU come on. There we go. Without going off the taxiway here. Bring in just a little bit of thrust. Trying to start bringing those flaps up. Put the spoilers down. Flaps and slats coming all the way up. And I have to taxi to the other end of the airport, so I will taxi down there, we'll park it, shut it down, and we will wrap this one up. Alrighty folks, we got her parked here. We're going to get the APU power coming on. Go ahead and throw on the APU bleed just out of habit here. And we can come down to the bottom here in a second. We'll get the engines shut down. Turn them off in the same order you turned them on, so 3, 1, and then 2. There we go, the engines are shutting down now. We'll jump over here, go to our services page on our EFB, get the GPU out there so we can hook up ground power. And that's going to wrap it up for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope you enjoyed the flight. It was a fun one. It was a long one, and I actually had to do it twice because the first time got all buggered up, which happens sometimes, especially when you're trying to make videos. So either way, I do hope you enjoyed it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it would be a huge help to me if you would in fact hit the thumbs up button. YouTube is definitely using that to determine whether or not they show these videos to people. And so if you're pressing the thumbs up, the more thumbs up I get, the more likely the video is to be to show up in people's search and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and continue this series. It won't be a super long one, but we're going to make our way all the way back around to Memphis. You guys let me know if there's any particular airports you'd like to see me hit. And that's it. That's all and no more, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, as always, keep the blue side up, unless otherwise instructed by ATC. God bless you all, and have an absolutely fantastic day.